Hello to the chicos, hello to the chicas. Welcome back to another video. We are going to discuss an awesome game, or a not so awesome game as it may turn out, which I played a little bit under the inspiration, or rather as a result of being inspired by an awesome game played by Aman Hambleton, which went quite big on Reddit, and we were actually discussing the queen sack on my stream when this game popped up, and I had the following opening: e4, c6, d4, takes, c4, knight f6, knight c3, knight c6, knight f3, bishop e6. And now this is a line and a move that's been coming up a fair bit in my practice recently, and I really didn't know how to handle it, and I lost a couple of games in it. And then I looked at it with the engine, and the engine actually recommended here, although c5 is its top choice, a move queen b3. And then I didn't really engage with this any deeper because I thought queen b3 just made perfect sense. And so I played two more blitz games with the move queen b3, which I duly lost both of them after knight check here, and then all kinds of disasters happened. In fact, because of bishop d7, I didn't even go for the check. I went check, bishop back, and then I was shaking my head, and I just didn't know what to do. And I'm like, I'm 100% certain that the engine recommended queen b3. Why would the engine recommend this if I insta-lose to knight a5? And so I sat down and went like, okay, this can't go on anymore like this. Let's see what this whole shebang is all about. And then it dawned on me that after the engine showed me this move, that, hello, there is a bit of a cutie coming here with c takes d5. And then I went like, oh, baby, this is what I want to play. Bring it on. And so shortly after I looked it up, a couple of days later, I came across Hungarian Grandmaster Peter Prohaska, and I defeated him soundly in this, in a blitz game. And once again, last time when I was on stream, this game had just happened after or during our discussion about the Aman queen sack. So the point is that here you play knight e5, take d5. You take bishop takes back with a check, and black is a little bit short for good moves. Knight c6 is obviously out of the question, and after knight d7, white casually plays knight e5. Now this is just insanity. Like, this is almost, I wouldn't want to say Nezhmedinov like queen sack, but pretty close to it if you think about it. Right now, white has one minor piece for the queen, and yet the engine's eval is that white is clearly better. 2.2. Holy cadoodle. So according to the engine, best move here is rook c8, and then you just mow down everything, and white is a pawn up, and is clearly better in this endgame. So that's all I had. And then my opponent, he played knight c4, and I was extremely torn at this point, because I knew instantly that the correct move in this position would have to be take. So similar to what I just showed you with rook c8, mow down everything, king e2, develop, kick it out, or king d3, kick the knight out, bishop develops, pawn up, white wins. No worries. But then, this tiny little devil that very often sits here on my shoulder just whispered into my ear and said, how about if we sack a bit more? And by sack, the little devil meant, of course, that I take c4, and thus I basically decline my own right to regain the material. But now we have got a jolly fun game at hand, where now I have got two minor pieces. Bishop b5 is still a deadly threat, and the position is extremely imbalanced. Of course, I did get my question mark from the engine, because the engine is really cruel and doesn't like what it and doesn't understand what it means for humans to have a Tala-like or a Nezhmedinov-like moment in chess. And so I was very pumped and excited about this opportunity to play this out. The opponent, he played knight takes e5, which despite of the fact that it gets a green check mark, is a bad move. The correct move is a6. And I didn't exactly have a plan in case of a6. Haha, those devils are always there, brother. Those devils are always there, Stan. And so after a6, I don't know. I think I would have just casually castled. But I have to admit that g6, bishop g7 seems like a very, very solid winning plan for black. Anyway, game continues, knight takes e5. And now I'm getting excited again for two reasons. One, bishop b5 is a game-winning check. But two, because no matter what way black chooses to deal with the bishop check, now I have this extremely pesky e6 move that is going to deny a lot of freedom from the black pieces, including the king. So he goes a6, and needless to say, I instantly go in with e6. And for the second time around in this game, and definitely not the last, I'm feeling very excited about my chances of winning this game against a Russian international master. Taborich, thank you so... Fide Master, sorry. Thank you for the follow, dude. So yeah, e6, when you can play a move like this in an opening when these dudes are still at home, almost always wins. The reason why it doesn't here is because I'm a queen down. He goes rook c8, I drop back, all g. Now I notice that I might have the threat of... So for example, g6, I think I have check. And if b5, I think I take. Simovisko S, that sounds like a Polish name, dude. Welcome. And if check, then counter check. And I would have been pretty happy with this. Although admittedly now after king d8, I really need to watch this. I don't know what the best way is to deal with this. Maybe bishop d7 or just... Oh no, bishop d2. And if takes, takes. And then I pick off that cherry. Maybe. Anyway, so I thought, okay, at least now we have got bishop a4. How do I follow shoulder devil? So he goes queen a5, gets a question mark. And actually, I didn't want to believe my eyes when the engine showed me why it's a bad move. And really, the move didn't even occur to me, or even if it did, I instantly brushed it off. Because I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Amazingly, the engine here wants to take. Which is basically just... oh, Taborich, thank you for the sub, buddy. I'm gonna do the push-ups for you after I finish recording this for YouTube. Say hello to YouTube, boys. So yeah, taking on f7 was just absolutely not on my radar, because the reason why I play e6 was to lock these dudes in. And it feels to me as a human that taking contradicts that idea, because now at least the king is out, so all he needs to do now is to develop the bishop and the rooks are connected. But it turns out that after castles g6, bishop d2, bishop g7, knight e4, the check, and various other moves proved to be rather annoying, whilst we are punching this queen in the face as well. Look at this. Queen b6, d6 check. And just casually playing on with knight and... bishop and horse for the queen. Like, no worries. No worries. King e8, develop. Rook d1. And according to the engine's measure, I'm up 3, +3. That was another noise that I didn't anticipate, which was my phone. Oh, it's hiding under my book. Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, I don't know. Hey, Blunderated. And yeah, black is in all kinds of trouble. I mean, look at it, like d7 check. King takes bishop e3 check, wins the queen. How cool is that? Ha! Wowzers. Bring it on, baby. So this is something that I entirely missed. And actually, as a result of that, I should have lost this game. I played bishop d2. He took, I took back. Another mistake according to the engine. The engine is very cruel. It says takes, takes, and rook d1. Because the engine also has a little devil sitting here on the shoulder saying, oh, you sacked the queen for two pieces. Why don't we throw away a few more pawns? And fair enough, now again, with the rook appearing on e1, I will have full development against a bit of a back rank fest, is what I like to call it in my courses. Yeah, I went takes, because that's what I insisted on. That was my whole idea, to have the pawn here and just be sure that this guy can't go there, which is, by the way, where my strategy is fundamentally flawed, because instead of this, after g6, I don't really have a productive way to prevent the castling, and then it's fishing in murky waters at the absolute best. So he goes queen e5, check, bishop e3, and he goes b5. Now, I was over the moon when this move came, because it just has disaster written on it with capital letters. The opponent has a king stuck in the middle, undeveloped pieces, and he plays an utterly meaningless pawn move. Now, I don't even know what he wanted to do with it, because I'm more than happy to go in there. So if the plan is b5, b4, he's forcing something I want to do. Very common club level mistake, by the way. Take note of that. So when I saw b5, I just went like, yeah, you're dead. I castled. That's to say that this evaluation is going to change still a number of times. g6. And I went into d5. Rook d1 was attractive too. But what I didn't like about rook d1, and actually knight d5 is best, is that after bishop g7, I actually can't go here because I'm losing too much wood. And now I'm an exchange down. And now there is no initiative associated with it because there are too many pieces gone from the board and black is just winning. So I quickly discarded the idea of rook d1 and instead went with knight d5 with the idea of hurting this. So after bishop g7, there is no castling because of knight e7. And also maybe it supports this well enough. Bishop g7. Rook e1. So that now I have got all kinds of dirties with the bishop. Queen b8. And believe it or not, here I played a move that is, in my opinion, the most natural way to continue this awesome attack. And it's actually a bad move. The engine wants here knight b6. And after castles, just either take or take that and carry on from there. Fairly timid if you ask me. I don't like that at all. But then again, this is a consequence of my probably poor decisions earlier on. Bishop g5 was the text move, which I found extremely logical. It opens up the e file, or at least the e rook. It attacks e7 again, so no matter whether he castles or not, I will take. So I thought. And so I thought, what could possibly go wrong here? And what I missed, and by the way, there's so many misses in this game, they are actually a testament to the fact that you cannot, and I will probably crucify for this statement, but the truth hurts, you cannot produce quality chess in Blitz. And if you tell me, oh, but look at Naka, he would beat you even if you had 3 minutes and you had 2 hours. Yes, probably he would. And yet, Hikaru can't produce quality chess compared to his standards either. What he is doing in Blitz is like a tiny, absolutely minuscule fraction of his knowledge that he can actually unleash in a proper time control game. So this comparison is not versus somebody else. It's always compared to what you have to offer, the full knowledge, the whole set. What I have to offer here in a 3-minute game is utter garbage. Every move is a mistake. I have tremendous fun playing it, but I always have this bad feeling in me when I'm playing these games, which I tend to lose a lot on time, where I go like, oh gee, if I play this position in a proper time control game, I could do so much with it. Anyway, so that was just a little bit of a tangent to go on that. Yeah, yes, these are awesome fun games to play, but man, I need time. Anyway, so bishop g5 is actually a mistake, because after bishop takes b2, rook d1, the bishop comes back from here to defend e7. Like, that's a breathtakingly beautiful concept on the defense. Needless to say that we had no clue whatsoever that this was a possibility. That being said, you can see the clocks. I have got 20 seconds at this point. He has got 25. And this is what happens, by the way. It's still a very valuable takeaway for club level players. And that is that if you put your opponent under pressure constantly, like from move to the next, to the next, to the next, where they always have to deal with new problems or the old ones recurring again due to different circumstances, almost inevitably, they are going to blunder. It's just human nature. And this is another reason, by the way, why a lot of people delude themselves into analyzing stuff with computers to death. You are not playing against computers. You are playing against humans. And so, when you play against humans, you need to incorporate the human factor. And it's human nature that if you play powerful sound chess, for the most part sound at least, this is certainly not sound for the most part, but after I sacked my queen, I actually managed to retain rock solid pressure throughout. So ever since I sacked the queen, there was a level of pressure on my opponent throughout the game. And in positions like this, it only takes one move, just one move like that, to drop the ball, and you are instantly knocked out. And so, to some degree, I felt that I was in the right to actually sack a queen, and then after that, listening to the devil and not regaining the material and some extra, but to actually go down on the more adventurous path, because it paid off. It paid off. And from here on, the game is actually a little bit irrelevant. Opponent played queen b7, I just took the free rook, and now I am 17 pieces up. And the game is over because on top of that I've got a mate. Which my opponent promptly blundered by playing bishop here, allowing me to check. Making sure, of course, that we're not going in here because then the king escapes. So check first to take away the g7 square. He blockaded it. And then the mate was the rather fitting finish. So this queen sacrifice is now being played in my practice at least about 4 or 5 times, and that was my second victory with it. And it is an extremely powerful trick that I stumbled upon by accident, literally. White chocolate chess cake, thank you for the follow. And it is just an amazing thing too, that even in 2021 you can actually discover stuff that is at least new to you. But I don't think that this has been widely discussed, because whomever I showed it so far all go at like, wow, I've never seen this idea. Well, the idea, yes, but this exact execution, definitely not. And no matter what black does here, he is going to be in some kind of trouble. So the best is to immediately give up on keeping the material and enter this endgame, which is nothing joy at all for black. So that was my queen sack game. A little bit of an inspiration by the good old Hambo. Although I definitely don't need to be asked twice to sack my queen. And I hope you guys liked it. And I will be back with more soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.